business, um, one of the things that we have to do better as entrepreneurs is be share information that is useful for you and I. So on today's show, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to share information that's going to be useful for you and I. It's something that we need to implement at all times, no matter what. I have 2 points for today. I'm going to tell you what those 2 points are, and then I'll dive right into those 2 points. The first point is we have to always look at new money. New monies may come from two aspects. It could come from a new client or a new service that you render, or it may be new money you putting into the business. Just keep that in mind. We're going to talk about that. On the other side, we're also going to talk about old money growth. As an entrepreneur, and everybody who's watching the show right now, I hope that either you're aspiring to be an entrepreneur or you're an entrepreneur, you have some staff. The definition of a small business, a lot of times, is subjective. So if you're in business and you say to yourself, I'm a small business, just understanding that is actually the way you're viewing it. There's no such thing as a small business. I do understand that there is a definition for a small business when it comes to the anything when it comes to as far as the Census Bureau. They have companies that generate X amount of dollars. But from the mindset of a business, the capabilities a business has. For example, at one point, Amazon was considered a small business when it was just in the garage. When Steve Jobs was building his company again in the garage, you have Jeff Bezos when he first started out from his home, and then he got to his office. And then you have Steve Jobs and Wozniak when they started their business. Most businesses started from some inside someone's houses. I mean, even if you think about Jack Ma, who started Alibaba. He had a home, and everybody slept right in his what we call the living room today. And he had a team, and people would sit there and they would work and they would sleep right in his own house. Most businesses started that way, but today Alibaba is not a small business. Neither is Amazon, nor is Apple. We see this as large corporations. So let's talk about new money. Today being Monday, the first day of the week for some, for others not. I mean, traditionally, you think about a 52-week schedule, 26 weeks, or get paid every week. You take that position and say, okay, today's Monday. For me, first day in the office. Sunday is a day that I just chill with the family. So this is the first day that I'm acclimated to actually doing any form of business with interacting with customers or staff. That's today. Well, with that being said, I got to think about new money. Everyone should have that. We should put down a measurement to say, okay, how much new money from last month came in, and that could be from a product or service that you're selling. How much new money compared to old money? Now, old money, don't confuse it with new money. Is this here? New money is always going to be categorized as money you received that came in from a product or a service. So if you got a product and you sold it, that product and that product itself is considered new. It's the first offering. That's important to understand. It's the first offering. Now, if you had a product and let's say you made cups and these cups you've had for 2 years and you now just selling the cups continue, you're ordering more, don't consider that new money. Look at that being old money. New money is going to be specifically a new customer that do utilize your service or a new product that you're launching. After you have this product out in the marketplace, you may have a time frame of saying the first 90 days. At that particular point, or the first 6 months, that's your new money from this product. Now, it comes from raw materials. If you have a cup, since I'm using the cup, in case you're if you're in the business of wholesaling your products. But when you're thinking about new money today, you really need to put that category down because every business has to constantly look at what is new. What is new money coming in? That money can come in two forms, as I mentioned before. Money that you've adding to the business for growth, whether you're getting it from a loan or you're getting that money from a actual money that came from another job that you may work. So you may run your business part-time. What is this new money? And how has this new money generated new money for the business? And then once you calculate that percentage, so let me give an example. Taking small numbers, say it's $10. You got a new $10 that you put into the business, and that came from some money that you have from your previous job, and you added that to your business. You've already had $100 in the business as far as in products and services, and you add it. So now you have $110 capital investment into this company. That money has to be made whole, which means returned back to you without any type of capital depreciation. So you have $110 in the business. Well, how much of that new $10 generated new money? And let's say that from that $10 that you put into the business, $2 was generated. That was generated this month. Now that's the month of August. Now you're taking a position that your total growth from that $10 was just two. So there's $2, but you generated a total of $10 collectively in a company with $2 being new money. So as we know, we're talking about 10% of your overall revenue came from new money. You should be able to know that percentage. That is an equation that you should get very good at. Every business must be able to correlate what is the new money that they got in, whether it's a new customer or it's from a new product being released. You need to know what that difference is, because this is how you're going to begin to scale your business up. Now, on the flip side, old money. For most of us who have products or services, most of our money is going to come from old money, money that we already deployed into the business. So we know that we put $100 in the business. From that $100, how much money came in? Well, and let's say, for example, we already said $2 came in from the new $10 that was capitally allocated. Well, now you have $100. Out of that $100, we say that $98 came from old money. So you'll begin to put down that I make 90% of my revenue from old money. I mean, not doing anything different, just what you've been doing, providing that product or service to the marketplace that $98 came from. There's your equation. 2% comes from new money, 98% comes from old money. Your goal is to grow your bottom line number. So the question is going to be now is how, over the next 90 days, how much of your revenue is coming from new money? That's going to be important, because just like lifting weights, if you go to the gym a lot or you do any type of workout, you're going to hit this plateau. And when you hit that plateau for business, we call it stagnation. You got to stay on point. You got to stay focused. Every day and every moment, you have to think about growing my business by new money. The new money allows you to break through that plateau and get to your next level where you have to go back into learning. So I think sometimes in business, when we're around individuals and most people, we're just trying to survive. We're saying, I got this old money. I need to make money to pay my bills. You have to keep in mind that you're the only one, and your team that you bring around you is the only one is going to help you continue to scale up. If you were weightlifting, I'll go back when I was playing sports in college and in high school. There's a point that you kind of hit, you kind of max out. You keep maxing out to see how much weight you can lift. But then you hit this plateau where you cannot break through it. And you go through this change in your body, strengthening other small muscles to break through so you can actually max out at a higher rate. Now, you can get discouraged during that max out period. The problem that most entrepreneurs face is that they hit their max out period very, very quickly. So today on today's business show, we're talking about dollars. The whole reason for today's show on Monday is to get you past that max out. It is very discouraging. And if you've been an entrepreneur for a while, it's very discouraging to find out that you did not get any new money in any given day. Now, that could be a new customers coming to your door. That could be a new service contract, depending upon if your business is product or service. So let me just break it down. New business is going to look like you got a new contract when it comes to a service business. That new contract either is going to be you get paid one time, or you have a service contract. Now, you can have a contract where a person buys the item that they need from you. That's it. So that service that they bought from you is just one time. But the question is, can I maintain a maintenance contract? Do you have that incorporated into your business? Some form of a maintenance contract, not just a one-time payment, but a maintenance contract. And the reason for that is that when you're in a service business, you actually make more money on maintenance contracts than you actually make on this proper service. Think about it in this regards. If you're a business and you strictly, and I'll go into this regards because it may help somebody. And I'm not sure if this is your business right now, but on my way to work today, I saw a lot of dog grooming companies. In the process, you think about dog grooming that's a maintenance, because a person is going to have to constantly, just like getting your hair cut, unless you cut your hair yourself, you got to think about what that contract looks like when it comes down to you servicing the contract. So cutting hair, that's a maintenance, especially if you go to a salon or you go to a barber. Well, for a grooming company, that's a maintenance contract. Well, if you have a product or you have a service, can you sit down with your team and put together a maintenance contract for that product or service? Something that a person could deal with you on a monthly time period, not just pay for it and it's done, but a monthly contract. It's going to be the lifeline of constantly seeing it, because that's what you want to. You want to begin to get over 12 months payments over a 12-month basis, not just that lump sum payment. And the reason for that is that your whole goal is to grow the bottom line of the business by each customer. If you're not doing that, it means that you're getting paid a lump sum of money. And whenever you get paid a lump sum of money, For entrepreneurs that don't have a board of directors or don't have a big team around them, it's an explosion of opportunities how to get rid of that cash. I mean, turning cash into trash very quickly. And that comes in place because the mind says, I got to lump this money. You're not going to say, let me divide the amount of money that I made over 12 months. That's the most important thing is actually you have 12 months of operating your business. And if you get a lump sum of money at one time, the mind itself, when you're doing these commission type businesses where you generate a lot at once and then you don't have anything else the following month, you actually are starving yourself of a skill that you need. And that's the new money skill, constantly going out getting new money. Now we understand that whenever you do some type of a service contract or any type of business where you have a monthly maintenance contract, it's time consuming. But the key is building your company around the fact of those contracts and then being able to hire more people so that you can continue to scale your business up, up, and up. Here's the other thing. When it comes to old money, today in the marketplace, I had the opportunity to go stop past Nebraska Furniture Mart. And I was looking for an item. The purpose of looking for an item was asking myself a number one question. And that is always, if I buy this item, how fast, one, can I get my money back from it? Number two, is it something that I'm buying for the business myself, which means that it's something that I bought myself that I utilize for the business? Or is it truly for the business? Well, as I went into the store, it was very easy to understand. After I go through my checklist, if I purchase this item, am I purchasing it for myself? Am I using my own personal money? Because if I'm going to use it for the business, then I need to buy it for the business. I don't need to use my personal money to do that. Very quickly, I realized that the business itself did not need to purchase this item. Well, then I didn't need to purchase it as an individual. And the reason that was important because this is how a lot of entrepreneurs end up making these brash decisions to buy an item. Does the business need what I was looking for? The answer is yes. But the cost of what it was, the price of it was about, not including tax, about $1,100. This is not including tax, guys. So on $1,100, the question is, do I have a current customer that is utilizing what I'm about to buy? And very quickly, I realized I was not using the right mindset. The answer was no. I do not have a current customer. So I just took down the specs, took down the information, talked to two sales associates that were very nice, very pleasant, very important. They actually went an extra mile, compared the two products that they were showing me in the electronic department of Nebraska Furniture Mart, and I had a good time. In the process of having a good time, I learned a thing about myself on Monday. It was, do not buy anything that is going to directly attack. The only reason I'm showing the work on Monday is to generate an income, not to actually take money and actually defer or destroy any income. So I kindly took the information down. I left out of the store after talking, and I thanked the two technicians that were sales associates at Nebraska Furniture Mart. And the reason I said technicians because they really did explain themselves very well as far as the products I was looking at. And I left. On the way back to the office, one of the things that I said to myself was, one, I'm very thankful that I was open-minded because there is no time in an entrepreneur life during an inflationary period. Now, currently, my worldview is the Fed's hiked rates earlier at the last week in July, so rates went up. The cost, that means the buying power is going down. So I have to bring in new money. And then I also got to look at my old money and say, is my old money generating more money today than it was before? Is my buying power increase? So the worst thing you do as an entrepreneur is actually buy an item doing a buying power decrease because we already have systematic inflation happening all in our local community. We also have it's happening on the federal level. Now I'm about to buy an item where there is not an immediate customer that's going to buy this product or utilize the service of the product that I'm buying to the point where it's allowing me to be made whole. This is how you have to look at it. I mean, yes, if you got new customers and you're saying this would allow me to do my job faster, cutting the time frame out, that's one thing. However, there's not a customer for this. This was an idea that I was looking at being able to strengthen my current portfolio and my current portfolio of products and services that I offer. Even when it comes to the live stream, it would say, well, it can help me with the live stream. Well, these are all speculative statements. And reality is the live stream has never been helped by utilizing this product at all. It should not be looked at as just an opportunity to have a toy. None of the businesses that we do should be like, well, if I get this, and then it becomes an item that we buy that is already during an inflationary period, which means I'm not spending first of all, $1,100 today, me spending. And if I did not spend it and buy this item that I was looking at, automatically that $1,100 would generate me another $1,000. So I would have $2,000 even if I don't buy this item today. Just leveraging my cash based on what I saw today in the market, I can actually have $1,000 to leverage and make an additional $1,000 in new money if I don't do anything else. So if this items have to generate greater than the $1,000 I can make by just not deploying the $1,000 into an item, because at that particular point, I get a write-off over 7 years for the business. For my personal life, I just get an item. It's not a write-off. But if it's for the business, I get to write this off over 7 years. And that's me writing off $1,100 plus tax over 7 years, dividing it and using it in the form of depreciation as an entrepreneur. That's one thing I can do because I bought this product and it's something that's going to be utilized for the office. But I didn't buy the product, but that's the concept when I'm just telling you guys. I didn't buy the item. I was looking at buying it, writing off over the next 7 years. But the question is, how do I generate revenue? Because I got to get paid this $1,100 back all in a 12-month basis and over an annual basis, get that money back. Well, one of the things you could do is, first of all, greater than less than no, or greater than less than go. Those are the two questions I always ask myself. So if you're an entrepreneur, you got to look at how much new money am I bringing in? And from the new money I'm bringing in, is this directly correlated? And this is the thing that can destroy a business when we buy items that's not directly correlating what we're doing. That's what stopped me today. It was the grace of God telling me what you're about to buy is not correlated to the current new money that you're making. So it means that you're going to have to add in another service or incorporate this into the service, so I'm actually not buying something to strengthen a current system. I'm actually buying something from a want standpoint that's not good for the business. So immediately, what did I do? Take the specs, looked at it, walked out of that store, took a photo of it, but I'm not going to buy it because it's not correlated today in what's going to generate that profit for the customers and services that I'm providing for, or even doing a live YouTube stream for CFS Studios. It is not correlated to doing it. It would not help at all. Well, the next thing I had to ask is this. Well, if I'm not focusing on new money, what about old money? Old money that's already been deployed that hasn't been returned to me. This is the state of mind of a CEO, a vice president, a secretary, an executive. You must be able to look at that percentage and saying, well, how much new money did I bring into the business? Because that's your breakthrough. You've got to be able to bring in new money to the business. And from the old money you already deployed, how does this new money actually allow me to pull out my original investment? Some of the damages that we do to ourselves because of the way that we look at our money. Money itself is a product. Even if you don't think it is a product. Sometimes the products that we're buying has no tangible value after it. Case in point, if you went grocery shopping already and you got food in your house, but you stopped for lunch because you forgot to prepare or bring the leftovers with you and you stop for lunch, there's a destruction of money, regardless if your lunch is 12, even if you stop at Costco's. I know a lot of people say, I'm going to stop at Costco's and I'm going to spend $2, hot dog or drink. I'm going to spend $2. I'm going to buy the pizza. I'm going to spend $5. Whatever it is that you may be spending right now, you already went grocery shopping. I understand that you're hungry. I understand you got to get that. But here is what you have to look at. Those moments of impulsive, because you failed to make your lunch or bring leftovers, when you could have made your lunch or bring leftovers, but you said, no, I'm going to eat out today. You're going to do that with your business. That's not going to be correlating your personal life. For your business, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to spend more money. And on Monday, today, my goal is really to warn you not to do that. Remember the sole reason that we all started our companies or all participated with a group of people who to co-found a company, or you have partners where you started a company with. It was to generate a profit. It was not to have access to buy other things and then not get your original money back. If you invest in the stock market, then you're looking at, well, I put $1,000 into the stock market. From that $1,000, how fast would it be that I can turn it into two, remove my 1,000 so I have no at-risk capital? That's going to be the key. Some people say, I don't want to pull my original $1,000 out of the business. I respect that. You're probably right. You don't want to. The question is, how do I keep that $1,000 in the broker's account and not use it? Second, if it comes to your business, I already invested $1,000 into the business. Well, if you got a loan, you make those monthly payments. If you have never learned how to trigger your mind that if you buy an item and you finance it, that you got to make that monthly payment, or you making a return of capital payment to yourself, that's going to be a key. And you cannot get in the habit. You have to say that you are the lender of your company. You lended your company money. You need to make sure you're making the decisions with new money and old money that's already in the company to return it back to you. The reason that old money can always generate more money than new is because you're able to return it back to yourself faster. If I put in 1,000 and I deal with a client and one client pays 500, that 500 may cover the cost of operating the business, but it doesn't give you anything back. Well, now you have two more clients. So you have a total of three. And after you have a total of three, the question is, are you making the decisions to continue to increase your cost? So it costs $500 to operate your business. You now have three customers that pay $500 each, and then you increase your cost of the business is 1,000. You haven't paid yourself back yet. Let me just tell you, that's bad operation of capital. It really is. You guys may think it's not, but reality it is. Because what you have done is that you brought the cost of your business expenses up, but you're not driving wealth for yourself. You should be able to say that now I know that on the fourth customer, I have no money in this business. And now that I have no money in this business, the only reason I'm going to put money back into the business is for new growth. But I'm now no longer have any capital at risk. If you invested in the market, it's the same way. You saying I now I don't have any at-risk capital right now. So if the market was to shut down tomorrow and I never get paid, I lost nothing. If your company was to close, you lost nothing. If your company is growing and you want to continue to grow, there's a tendency to throw more and more capital into the business, ignoring the fact of how long will it take to get out. Some people have put so much money into the business that if they do the mathematically, it'll be 7 years to 10 years before. So you'll say 10 times earnings means it'll be 10 years before you get all your money out. 7 times earnings be 7 years. 21 times earnings is 21 years until you actually break even. So be mindful of that. Sorry about rocking the camera, guys. Be mindful of that. Be mindful that when it comes to your business, the number of years before you be made whole is a key, but you can only start making yourself whole by start making payments to yourself like you make to office. I have an office space. I have to pay a lease. Every month, the landlord gets paid money back from his investment. Now, the office space that I have, or the several office spaces that I do carry in the building, and in different buildings throughout Lincoln and Nebraska, one of the things you have to accept is that the landlords themselves are on, it's fixed for 12 months. It's fixed the same way your service may be fixed. Before there is a rise in rent, um, it's important to be able to make that determination about the new money. The only way the landlord gets paid any more money from me is when the renewal of the lease and it's an increase, whether it's $10, 20 or $50, the lease goes up. That's his new money. The old money is the previous amount. The new money is the increase, but it's fixed. It's over 12 months. Well, you are an entrepreneur. You have to make that decision. When are you sitting down looking at new money? Again, old money can make new money. It can, but you have to be mindful of the annual percentage. And this is one of the things I just want to talk about today. You should be tracking new money and how does it play into the overall goal of it. Think about how much money you put into the business and what is the percentage of that new money, because that's going to grow the net operating income. First, it'll hit the overall gross income of the business, then it'll increase your net operating income. And then second, how much of old money is generating more money as well? That is the percentage that you should be looking at. For everybody's business, that matrix has to be put out there. How do you know you're growing your bottom line if you're not tracking it? If you can't manage it, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. Just keep that in mind. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And if you're not managing, it means you're just going through the motion. And the problem with going through the motion is you just easily be deflated. Well, that's what I want to talk about today's show. Didn't want to have a long show where I would just continue to maybe repeating myself, called beating a dead horse. But I just want to put those two aspects out. Please make sure you write down your ratio between your new money that you're making in the business and the old money you already deployed. And then track that in quarter to how fast will it get back all the money that you put into the business. Before you put a new money into the business and before you scale up your business, you must first look at the percentage of how much of the original money you put in the business is still there. Are you still tracking in 7 years you'll be made whole? Or is it now became 10 times earnings? One of the metrics that I try to look at is building my business over a 12-month basis, not putting more money in than I could generate in 12 months. All my metrics are always based on an annual percentage and an annual 12 months, a calendar year month, January through December is one of the ways I can calculate. And if I'm not able to pay, maybe made whole in a year, then it's now 2 years. But the goal is to not go beyond a PE ratio of 7. That means seven times earnings. So it'll take me 7 years to actually have no money in the business. But during that time, I need to make sure that I do not grow my expenses, that instead of it being 7 years to pay myself back and still have money in the business and still have money in my pocket, is that I don't turn it into 10 years because of the growth of the expenses of the business. This is some of the things that the entrepreneurs make a fundamental mistake. I made that mistake before, where I put money in and it took me 10 years to pay myself back based on the numbers until I got the products and service in place to pay me back in 24 or 36 or within 6 years. But mostly I try not to go into 10. I've made that mistake. I can tell you that that mistake is a mistake I don't want to make again. I can tell you that not only myself, but also my partners and also the co-founders didn't like that mistake. But mostly I learned the proper way to scale a business without pushing down the road my original investment. Until next Monday, I look forward to talking to you guys on Wednesday as I have recreated the entire watch list and only looking at 2 companies, which I will reveal, and just look at building my overall portfolio all over again. It's called Wash and Repeat. Now, I still have the old watch list. You can go back and watch those videos on Wednesday, but I look forward to interacting with you guys again. And you have a blessed, amazing day. And don't forget to scale your numbers and watch your ratios. Make sure you're paying yourself from the original money you put in so that you do not just continue to increase your overall cost of the business without rewarding yourself from the business you've done. Have a great day.